We're doing a summary.
Okay, your structure's fine. I don't find major structural problems with your house. There are some minor things you guys can do. The brickwork around the foundation of the house, the mortar is starting to come out from between the bricks, so someone's going to need to repoint some of that. And it's really not a lot of it, and it's just the bottom 3 courses of brick where the water lands on the ground and then splashes up on the brick and is just washing the mortar out. So some minor point-up repair, easy to do, probably needs to happen. You'll find a little bit more of it under the front porch than on the rest of the house. But the foundation is actually really good. Your exterior is in really good shape also. The underground drains on your house are original to the house, and we see standing water in them, which generally means that they're clogged. And you have so many big trees in your yard and plants, I'm assuming they are not functional anymore. So either have them snaked, abandon them, and redirect the water away from the foundation by other means, or put in new pipes, whatever you want to do. But there's going to have to be some work done to the foundation grading and the water management off the roof to get the water further away from the house. We need a little foundation grading improvement along the west side of the house. You have a walkway that runs right along the side of the house, and there is a big tree over there, and it has tilted the walkway so it's draining the water towards the foundation. It's just brick. We just need to pick up the brick, put more sand underneath them, and get them to drain the opposite direction so the water's running away from the foundation instead of towards it. Again, not a difficult repair. And then your roof is not very old. I'm going to guess it's about 15 years old. It's a 30-year material. The only thing your roof needs today is some cleaning. Since you have a lot of overhanging trees, it has a tendency to not get a lot of light, and moss grows on your roof, and every once in a while it needs to be chemically cleaned. So we spray your roof with a chemical, it kills the moss washes off. That's got to be done every few years, so yours is in need to have that done right now, and that's just a maintenance item. Your plumbing overall is in really good shape. What you do need to know is the water line coming into the house is copper, or excuse me, is lead. We talked about that earlier. So a whole house water filter is probably a good investment for you guys. Also, the waste lines under the house are the original waste lines. Cast iron pipes have a 100-year life expectancy. You're at 105. If you really want to know what those pipes look like on the inside, you have to pay a plumber to put a camera down that line, and they will push it down all the way to the street and tell you what those lines look like. They could be in good shape, they could be in poor shape, they could be somewhere in between, but unless you put a camera in them, you won't know. We ran lots of water today, nothing backed up, everything drained, so I know they're working right now, but you should know their condition more than that.
Mm-hmm. And the last client that had to run a new sewer line from their house, it was $16,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be... Yeah,
I was thinking 20 for this house because it's so big. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
No indication that it's needed right now, but because it's at the end of its life, you should budget for it.
Right. You should know that it's coming. Other plumbing problems, you've got 2 defective shower diverters, one in the basement bathroom and one in the attic bathroom. So the showers are turned on, and that's all you get. You can't get the spigot to turn on because they're corroded in place and the handle's missing on one. So if you want the shower and the tub faucet to work, you'd have to replace the diverters on both of those.
So that means you can only take a shower in the basement and in the attic, and only a bath, or you could do a bath or shower in the hall bath upstairs.
So the sewage grinder pump, I think we talked about earlier, that's connected to this new little half bath they have here off the bathroom. And the trick for you guys is you just can't use it if there's no power.
Right.
Okay?
Don't.
And then you have 1 hot and cold reverse at the shower in the main level, not the main level, it'd be the bedroom level hall bathroom. So when you think you're putting it on cold, you'll get hot, and vice versa. So that will eventually need to be taken care of. And then we're going to jump to electric. And electric is where you guys probably have most of your issues. You got 150 amps of power coming to your house, but that's probably the least amount of power you should have considering the size of the house and the fact that you have 2 air conditioners. So it's adequate for what you're doing now, but if you want to add anything to this house electrically, if you want to remodel the kitchen, if you want to put more outlets in the bedrooms, if you have an electric car that you have to plug in, you're done. There is no room in the electrical panel box for expansion, and you don't have a lot of juice. So could you live with it like it is right now? Yes. If you're going to start a remodel or have need for more electrical juice, you will have to do a heavy up and bring more power to the house. Replace those boxes downstairs with a larger box to give you more space to add electrical circuitry to.
And you guys did that at Tuckerman, I believe.
Right. You have a main panel box and a sub panel box. Both are nearly full, so there's not any room for expansion. And your sub panel box is not wired properly. It's not wired as a sub panel box. It has multi-tap circuits in it. There's multi-tap neutrals in it. So there's a lot of work that needs to go on in the electrical panel box. If you don't upgrade right away, we'd at least need to make those safe to use and clean that stuff up down there. You have a lot of outlets around the house that have no ground fault circuit protection. And those are the outlets you see in kitchens and bathrooms with test and reset buttons on them. So normally your bathrooms, your outside, your kitchen all have those. I found one.
Oh, yes. That was
two. We found
attic
one
bathroom.
In the bathroom upstairs, and we found one in the attic. There isn't any anywhere else.
Okay.
Your outdoor outlets, your kitchen, the half bath down here have no GFCI protection. So something to upgrade there. And then you have a lot of outlets that are not properly wired. So we had a lot of reverse polarity outlets, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6 reverse polarity outlets, and 1, 2, 10 outlets that are not properly grounded.
Okay, so David, for me, just a reminder, reverse polarity, what is that?
They have the hot and the neutral wires connected to the wrong screws on the outlet. So that's an easy fix. We just take the outlet out of the wall and we move some wires around and put the outlet back in.
And why is that bad?
Because our electronic equipment is very sensitive to the direction the electricity is going through it. That's why on the plugs nowadays, one side of the plug is bigger than the other side. It's forcing you to put that plug in the wall
in the right way.
So in your case, even if you put the plug in the right way, the electricity is coming out of the outlet backwards. So it wouldn't hurt a lamp, probably wouldn't hurt your cell phone charger, could fry your computer or your high-end television or anything that's sensitive with the electrical, which is most of the stuff we have nowadays.
Okay, and so what does non-grounded do?
Well, it just means that there's a surge of electricity that's coming through the house. The electricity has no place to go, so it's going into your appliance and it's going to fry it.
Okay.
So it's a safety thing.
Okay.
So, and your outlets have a third hole in them. And so they're advertising, hey, look, I'm safe to use. I have ground on it, but there's no ground attached to those.
So there's, you said there's a whole host of that. So an electrician to come clean that up, what do you think?
It's hard to say.
Yeah, okay.
It's hard to say, but you probably have a couple $1,000s worth of cleanup just inside the house.
Without the heavy up and new panel. Okay.
You know, clean up the electrical panel box, fix the ungrounded, and fix the reverse polarity. It probably costs you a couple grand.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough.
All right. Smoke alarms. Make sure your smoke alarms are all up to date. Pull them all down. Make sure none of them are over 10 years old. All smoke alarms have dates on them. Make sure you have one on every level. There is a alarm system in the building. I don't know if he's using it. If it's powered, you'd have to have someone come in and look at that if you want to use that system there. Your boiler downstairs is about 30 years old. They last 30 to 50 years. So you're kind of in this period where, yes, it's working, but it might be chewing up more gas than you like. So I would use it for a season and see what your gas bills turned out to be like. I'm assuming, other than regular maintenance, it does have a small leak on it that needs to be repaired. I would assume it's going to work just fine. You're not going to have a problem. You have 2 air conditioners, one for the basement and first floor and one for the upper 2 levels. I can get the upper level unit to run. I cannot get the AC for the main level and the basement to function at all. So I've checked the power supply, I've checked the thermostat, everything seems to be functioning. I cannot get it to run. So.
And there's the 2 condensers on the side of the house, and then there's the unit, the cooling unit is in the attic for
there's a cooling unit in the attic, and there's a cooling unit in the basement.
Okay. Are they the same age? Were they done?
All 2012.
Okay.
So they're only 8 years in, so they're not very old.
Okay.
So they have 20-year life expectancy or more, so you should be able to just repair.
And they're carriers.
They're carriers. They were good systems.
Okay.
Okay. You do have a little asbestos wrap on some of the old water lines downstairs for the radiant system, encapsulate it, wrap it, paint it. I don't recommend removal of it, but if you just encapsulate it, I think you guys will be fine. And there's not very much of it down there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see here. And then change the filters on those air conditioners. You have what are called high density air cleaners.
I saw that.
They're replaced once a quarter.
Oh,
so
there's an extra one down there.
Right. So you will probably only have to replace the filters in the system once or twice a year.
Okay.
Because you're not using it, but during the cooling season. So.
Right.
Your interior's in great shape. Your biggest problem is windows. You have one door that doesn't latch shut to the entry coat closet, and then your windows. You've got a couple pieces of cracked glass, and then you've got some counterbalances that are missing on one side.
Yeah.
The beauty of these windows is even with one counterbalance broken, they still stay up. So the windows are extremely functional still. They're actually not in bad shape. The windows on this level are the original wood windows. Then you have some newer wood windows on the enclosed porch upstairs. There's some vinyl windows, some double hung wood, double pane windows. So the windows are really not in bad shape. They could stand to have a little love, a little repair here and there.
And some roping where there's missing.
But overall, they are in actually really good condition considering their age.
I tried out a couple of the storm windows, and they worked where I tried them, but I noted there was a couple of old ones.
Where the glass is falling in, they're not installed properly, but anyone can fix that. They're easily taken care of. And then in your kitchen, I don't think I have much other than the front of your dishwasher was painted black.
Yes.
So if you
Jackie and I were laughing about that.
If you scrub that down, it's probably going to come right off.
Don't clean it, just paint it again.
Yeah, don't clean it again. The range is missing the anti-tipping bracket.
Oh yeah, don't use it as a ladder, Victoria or Scott.
So it has 2 charcoal filters in it you have to replace once a year. You should assume that they need to be replaced when you come in.
And if you decide to get an actual hood vent,
you can vent it outside.
You can vent it out.
There's an outside wall there.
The other thing, David, is there's this soffit, but I don't think there's not venting above there. I just think it's just for looks.
Just to hang the cupboards on.
Oh, isn't that sweet? Yeah. Okay, so
and
there's lots of headroom up there.
Very old in here. The range is 9 years old. The dishwasher is 9 years old. The refrigerator is only 4 years old. The garbage disposal is 4 years old.
Oh, okay. And also there is a point water filter at the sink. That's a Hydroviv. I've been hearing about
There's
those.
one there. There's also 2 water filters for your refrigerator. There's one downstairs and there's one in the refrigerator.
Okay. All right. That's good.
So, but the house is in great shape. So I will email you this report later this evening.
Okay.
And if you guys have questions, you can either text me or call me or email me back and I'll answer any questions you have.
Okay. David, do you mind if we step outside and I point out and ask a couple questions?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, so David and I looked at this. This is that spot underneath. And David is suggesting that it maybe doesn't need to have the new joist put in because that would be really hard. But go ahead, David, you can. What's your assessment?
There's enough beef, or the only part of this that's got any termite damage to it is where it touches the brick.
Mm-hmm.
So if we went underneath here and put a support post just on the other side of here under this and jacked it up and took the sag out of this, that's really all you need to do.
Oh, so like a post right next to the brick pier.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
And that'll carry the weight of this and we don't have to worry about the chewed up end of that.
Okay.
And trying to fit or sister a new board in there, which I think would be more expensive in the long run anyways.
Okay. Okay, so, great.
And then you could replace the boards up here on top if you want, but they're cosmetic at this point.
Okay.
Nothing else is going to happen.
Okay. So I'm also going to point out here, oh, the sun's coming out. So David mentioned that the sewer lines that run for the water runoff on the roof, they are, and I don't know if you can see that, but it is clogged. See the water in there? And that is actually at the spot in the basement where there is some water seepage. And so it would be important to, even though this all slopes away, David and I went over this, it would be better and important for you to run the water away from the house. Whether it's unclogging that, which may be difficult because it might be tree rooted, or you run like one of those flex tube pipes to have it go that way and away, run that way and then that way. That is, but there's a couple of spots for that. Okay, and David, what do you think about the stucco and framing?
It's be a pain in the ass to paint.
Thanks, David.
But it's in great shape.
Okay.
It's had a few little settlement cracks in it that you can see they've repaired.
Uh-huh.
And you still got another one, but it's just the nature of stucco. It doesn't like being moved at all, and you live on a speck of dust hurtling through space, so, you know, everything's good. So you will eventually have to repair some cracks on it once in a while, too. But the house structurally is in great shape, so
okay.
you don't have to worry about that. And then the siding above the stucco is real wood, so just keep it painted. Be in good shape.
David mentioned that the trim looks like it could use some scraping and painting.
In a few spots, very few spots.
They have this paint in the basement, FYI.
Uh-huh.
And I'm gonna just show up. David is packing up, but just to go over some of the things he said to me was that the trees look like the ones that are close are healthy looking, and it would be good for you guys to keep an eye on them. The root system should go straight down, but that is, the sewer line probably comes out about right down here. And you won't, here's the supply line access, but often the supply line runs with the sewer line. He said that the trim is in good shape, needs some scraping and painting along some areas. You can see, hold on, there, right there. Oh, some scraping and painting needed, but it actually looks like it's in great shape. Okay, I'm gonna go to the side where he was pointing out the walkway for the drainage. So the thing that's important, he said, is see how this is sort of, it's cantilevered. It probably used to be very straight and sloped just like this away from the house. However, the tree root has made it a little bit start to slope just a little bit this way. He suggests that all the walks slope this way. They're also permeable. That's great. So it just means lifting them up, putting more sand in to make it slope this way and then go that way. Specifically, down here is really where some of this needs to be sloped this way and not this way. Some of this is sloped away, but it kind of goes back and forth, and it's probably due to the tree root. He did say that, and here specifically, you can see here, because it's been lifted here by the tree. So here is a really important spot where you would need to, this section from here to there, lift, sand, so that it will then slope away. And this is where he said there needs to be some repointing. And this tube, which is not really pretty, should be extended. Sometimes people have buried it, so at some point you could bury it underneath to go out that way. A landscaper can help with that. I mean, that's actually a pretty homeowner job could do. Okay, this is where we were seeing water on the other side of the garage, and he said that this is the reason why there was standing water or pooling water. It was wet. This should be extended with a black tube away from the house. This all looks good. He was saying this probably should be raised so it slopes away. And this seems to slope away, but I think that should be everything. We've covered everything. Oh, the dryer vent needs to be cleaned. Okay, so one of the air conditioners would not start, so my thought is we could ask for the person who installed it to see if they could come out and show us how to start it, in case we're doing it wrong. And those are with storm windows are a little off. All right, guys, I think that's everything.